What is up, everyone, and welcome back to The Cutting Edge. We are live in our amazing just knife skills, knife inspiration, knife motivation community. I'm Joel Gamron. I couldn't be more proud to have partnered with Schmidt Brothers Cutlery on this amazing, amazing group that we've kind of supported and built together. So the fact that you're here means that you want to get a little bit more efficient in the kitchen, maybe want to build a little bit more confidence in the kitchen. The good news is if you are a Schmidt Brothers owner, you are already halfway there. You have the right tools. Now it's about getting that confidence so you can walk in to your kitchen and rock out anything. And today, we are rocking out such a delicious dish. We are making beautiful pea and kind of mint stuffed pork chops. Screams spring. This is such an impressive dish. It is unbelievably addictive, really easy to rock out. This is something that you can make, I think, for a Friday night if friends are coming over, but it's also something that I think you could totally do on like a Tuesday night after work for the fam, for yourself, the whole deal. So it's really, really versatile. Like I said, I'm Joel. I'm the head chef at Homemade. We are such proud partners, like I said, of Schmidt Brothers. What makes this special is that you can interact with me in real time. So you can talk to me, which is really cool. You would have to talk through my buddy. She's the producer here at Homemade. Give it up for Mary. Hey, Mary.
Hi, buddy. Hi, everybody. I am so hungry for this class, and we have folks from all over. And people have loved seeing you warming up in the background.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to get going. I want to say, Mary, are you confident with a knife or no?
I'm actually getting more confident because of these knife classes.
Yeah,
I sit a lot at the chat moderator desk at Homemade, and I hear that we're about to do a little chiffonade today.
We're going to do so many different knife techniques today. I need everyone to just hold on. Okay. I wouldn't chop along with me on this. I would make sure that you are watching me and then go and, do it in your own kitchen.
This isn't a multitask situation.
It's not a multitask. But
Come
if
and
you
enjoy.
want to, I trust you. I absolutely trust you. But I just want to call out that you can put it in the chat. Mary will yell out what you are talking about, and I can respond to you in real time. So that's what makes this really interactive and fun. All right, well, let's get into it. First and foremost, can we talk about this gorgeous knife set? One of the things that I absolutely love about Schmidt Bros is it can sit on your countertop, and it's not something that you want to hide. 99% of the knife blocks out there just don't look the part. They're not gorgeous. They're not elegant. And there actually are some beautiful ones, but they're also really, really expensive. And they don't come in a knife block like this. So what I love about this is it's proudly displayed, doesn't take up too much of your kitchen, and of course, does the job. So just visually, it's amazing. Today, we're doing the Heritage 12-piece knife block. This comes with 4 steak knives, great, just everything that you need from the chef knife on down for your very own kitchen. But we're gonna start with the chef knife. And this is kind of the Santoku. Can we kind of do a close-up of this one? I love this for what we're about to do, which is just a lot of chopping work. And we're gonna get into what a chiffonade is, how to chop it all up. But to start this off, we're gonna make a really great filling. So I've got basil, and right now, by the way, basil is popping. I mean, if you go to the grocery store, buy basil. Buy anything green. I call it spring greens, okay? Anything green right now is happening. Don't you know that? Did you know that, Mary?
Oh, yes. I actually bought my first big basil plant and really put it up in my window.
An actual plant,
like an actual plant.
That's awesome.
Because I use it so much, and after 3 days, sometimes they get sort of wilty and black on my kitchen counter. And I realized that it actually is worth the investment and the once a day that I do a little bit of water into it.
Yes, it's
gardening starts here,
worth the investment, and it tastes so much better. By the way, now I'm picking off some mint. So I've got basil and mint. And I just got like a big wad of it. And honestly, if you can't find basil or mint, or if maybe that's a little bit cost prohibitive for you, you could totally go with like spinach or something like that. But I kind of gather them all up. And this is kind of our first knife skill today, which is called a chiffonade. And as chefs, we call it a shiff. Okay? I know.
Chefs who shift.
Chefs
I love
who
it.
shifts. So what you do is you kind of roll up the herbs, right? And you grab your knife, and most people chop by holding their knife like this on the handle, right? Some people, like my mom, put their finger right here. But the right way to actually cut is to sneak your fingers up. A lot of us know this, and pinch the actual blade itself, right? And what makes Schmidt Brothers so special is if I turn my finger around, it has this perfect little ergonomic resting bed, I'll call it. I'll call it a nook. It's a little nook, and only Schmidt Brothers have this, but your finger feels so comfortable here. This one feels so comfortable here. It's extra matted. It has a little padding to it, so it's just very comfortable for this technique. Knives, they know, most knife companies, that people hold it the wrong way, so they kind of design it that way. Not Schmidt Bros. They know the right way to hold it. So then I take this knife, and I kind of like an ice skate, I just kind of glide it through my board. And actually, this is a Schmidt Brothers board. They just sent this to us. We're all geeking out over it. It's so soft. But you basically kind of glide your knife through these herbs, and you want to kind of shave them as thin as you can. Now, the trick with fresh herbs is to not over chop them, meaning I've seen a lot of people chop herbs and they just keep going at this point. I only like to chop it like once or twice through, because that way you really taste the herb. When you over chop it, it kind of bruises the herb and you lose the flavor. So once I chiffonade it into this beautiful kind of confetti, look at that, isn't it gorgeous? I take my hand, I put it down on the board, and then I just run my knife through like once, maybe twice, and that's it. Cool? Really beautifully, freshly chopped herbs. All right, we can all do that. So I'm gonna add this into a bowl, and we try and teach you guys here at The Cutting Edge, use a bench scraper. Obviously this one is Schmidt Bros, but it saves your knife blades, makes them so they're extra sharp. So try not to do this with the knife, do this with the bench scraper. Beautiful. I've got some ricotta, all right, just some whole milk ricotta that's going into the herbs. I got some beautiful, my favorite ingredient, fresh lemon zest going in there. So you can already kind of tell the flavor situation. It's gonna be bright, it's gonna be minty, it's gonna be springy, it's gonna be absolutely so good. All right, so that's going in.
You want to hear what a person who chiffonades often is
Tell me.
called?
Tell
A
me.
chiffonista.
A chiffonista, I love it.
Courtesy of Steph.
Who said that?
Steph did, but then Wendy said, I'm a schiffer, and we've just been deciding. I think it's just chiffonista. So
I'm obsessed.
excited
I'm
for that.
legitimately obsessed. All right, ricotta's in, herbs are in. I'm gonna shake in some Parmesan. All right, and actually this is Pecorino, actually. So it's a sheep's milk kind of salty cheese. And then last but not least, I have a little bit of garlic. And I'm just gonna kind of smack that open. And you can chop this up. In fact, I probably will. I'll show you guys how I chop up garlic really fast. And I might use kind of the standard chef knife. Now, what's really cool about these heritage piece sets, can we get a close-up of here, is it is a Western style blade, which means it's a heavier blade, all right? Super balanced. Can we get close up here, Richard? Is that possible? I just want everyone to see, yeah. So go try and do this with your knife at home if it's not Schmidt Brothers. Do you see how that just sits on my finger? Guys, I'm live here.
That was a dare.
Yeah, that is
Joel
a dare.
just dared you.
That is a dare. This is what makes the difference. It's so balanced.
Beautiful.
So comfortable in your hand. So this is kind of your standard chef knife. This is the Santoku. Again, I like the Santoku for kind of rocking the herbs, but typically I'm going after kind of my Western chef knife. So for this, with the actual garlic itself, you can kind of shave it really thin, right? Really beautiful and small. And then again, you kind of put your hand on the board just like the herbs. This one you can really chop through, and you're not going to bruise it or any of that. So just take it all the way through. Beautiful. And then I even add a little salt over the top of that. And that helps kind of break it down. And then I take the whole blade here, with Schmidt Bros, it's a nice wide blade, 4 fingers, and I kind of smear it across that board. And this just kind of pulverizes it and creates this like garlic paste. Have you done this before, Mary?
I haven't, but I feel like I have because I've seen you do
Yes.
this in this very
one of
spot.
my
A
favorite
garlic
techniques.
paste is, yeah, it is a favorite of yours.
It makes it so intense, and I gather that up on the bench scraper, and that goes right into the rest of the mixture. I'm gonna add some peas. You can use fresh or frozen. That's going in there. And then just like make a big mess in there, right? I salt and peppered it already, but take that ricotta and kind of just move it around. How good does this look already? I mean, like,
so
insane.
Springtime. And
That look great.
we just had Paulette join the chat just in time for the garlic, which is her favorite part.
I love it. Awesome. Hi, Paulette, and I am a garlic lover as well. All right, this looks awesome. I'm just going to try it. I have to try. I mean, come on. Garlicky, herby, sweet, kind of pops in your mouth with all those little beautiful peas. I could literally smear that on anything, and it would be incredible. All right, so the filling is done. This is going to go inside our pork chops. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to stuff these pork chops, but it's actually a very similar way of how you might want to stuff like a chicken breast or even a piece of salmon. But when you do that, it's nice to have a boning knife, right? I just want to make sure that you guys can see. There's kind of two here. So let's get close here, Richard. One, the smaller one, is kind of called a utility knife, and it's great for what we're about to do. It's got some flex to it. It's small, so you can kind of move around. And then you have the slicer knife, also can be used as a boning knife. Fantastic, that's our pairing. Fantastic, again, very flexible, good for kind of filleting fish, things like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a plastic board here, and I'm gonna start, actually, one of these pork chops. These are bone-in pork chops, but they don't have to be. And you kind of just wanna set them on your board and just kind of flatten them out with your hand and just kind of open them up like a book. And hopefully you guys can see this. I'm trying to kind of do it as I show you.
So that sort of looks like a pita pocket.
Yes, it's kind of like a pita pocket. That's such a good, yes. So I'm kind of just opening it up, like kind of butterflying it, if that makes sense. All right, so I'll show you guys again. I take the pork chop, lay it down. You can do this with chicken breast. I grab my slicing knife, right, and I kind of just horizontally open it up. Now, once I open it up, that kind of first flap, I use the top of the knife and I kind of just peel it back, just like that. This is, look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I'll do one more here. This is a good technique. You could use the smaller knife, but you kind of want to, you'll notice, I kind of am using the entire blade here. And a lot of knives aren't long enough. Schmidt Brothers knows that this is a technique that you might do. You might butterfly and kind of open up meat, so they kind of think about that. And there you go. This looks amazing. All right? So nice and open. We'll save this one for later. Looks incredible. And then, there's lots of ways to stuff this, but what I like to do is kind of open it up, grab some of that mixture, and just go right in. And it's okay to overstuff. I kind of want this to come out in the pan. That kind of makes it, I don't know, even better. But it's almost like a ravioli. So I put a big spoonful in, then kind of top it with the flap like that. Then I grab a little bit of a toothpick and just kind of go down and up. Mary, do you feel like that you could do this?
Yes, I can make a sandwich, so I can do this.
Wow.
Right? You put things and other things
honestly,
and put it on top.
I think that is right. I think that is right.
Thank you. And also, I mean, look, you can't make a bowl of cereal and then make this. You know, sandwich is a step up from bowl of cereal.
Yes.
But,
yes.
yeah, I'm wondering sort of why I'm adding sauces to my various meat dishes at the end rather than within the meat.
Yes. Well, what it does within the meat not only flavors within the meat, but it honestly tenderizes the meat. So the ricotta, the lemon, all that kind of helps keep the meat super juicy. So I'm just taking this toothpick, and I want to do it slower on my last one. I feel like I'm kind of rushing through this one. But I'll show you guys again. So I open it up, right? Here's the opening that we created. I spoon some of that ricotta right in there. You can see the peas, the mint, the basil. I kind of flatten it out, and then I take a toothpick and I go in and back through. Just like that. And then I kind of flatten it out again. And there you have some beautifully stuffed pork chops.
We have one person in the chat, Steph, of course. She's a cereal overstuffer.
She's a cereal what?
Overstuffer, which means
cereal
that
overstuffer.
she tied her pork chop. She thought ours looked a little thin.
Oh my gosh, I love
funny.
that.
So funny.
All right, tell me the question. Oh, you're just saying that.
I'm just saying. The question is really Wendy saying, did you sew two together?
Well, let
Chef
me just
Steph?
say one thing here with cereal overstuffing, because
Yes.
I was an overstuffer as a young chef. I think that we tend to do that with raviolis, when you stuff things like meats. You just don't realize how little goes a long way. The reality with this dish is you can overstuff it because it's going to go in the pan, it's going to fry up, it's going to be amazing. And even if it's falling out of the pork chop, it's still going to be delicious. So don't worry if you overstuff. All right, I'm going to salt and pepper one side here. Whenever we salt and pepper anything, you want to do it from up high so the salt really distributes evenly. A little bit of pepper. How good do these look? Don't these look gorgeous? Oh, looks so good. All right. Then in a cast iron skillet, which I have at like a medium-high heat, I'm going to add some good glugs of olive oil. All right. And I'm going to take these pork chops, salt and pepper side down, and lay them right in. Really simple. All right. And then I'm going to get rid of this board. It's done its job. It's kept my other board clean. Give this whole thing a little wipe down. So I just want to kind of recap what we did here. So we started by making kind of an herby pea ricotta mixture, right? We had the ricotta, we had the peas, we chiffonaded all the basil and the mint. We chopped up that garlic into a beautiful paste, folded it all together. Then we used our slicing knife, the long one, the whole blade, and we butterflied open the pork chops. We layered in our mixture. We tied it together with a little toothpick, and now we are searing it in some olive oil. Does that make sense to everyone? Is everyone tracking? How we doing? Mary, are you
we're
tracking?
It's just pork frying ASMR in here, which I love.
What is it?
It's pork frying ASMR. Sorry,
I
this is the
know,
point of the
I
show
know.
where I now
It's
have to
so
shout
good.
because Joel is absolutely killing it at the stove.
I love it.
Just people are loving this filling.
What?
The filling is so good.
The filling is so good.
Filling is
And
everything.
what I'll do with my back of my spatula is I'll just kind of press the pork chops down just a little bit, just so they sit flat. That filling kind of changes the shape of the pork chop, so you kind of want to, get it back to normal shape. Beautiful. All right, so the pork chops are searing. We're hanging out. This is a great time for questions, but the reality is we've talked about the balance of these knives. We talked about the kind of the ergonomic nature of Schmidt Brothers. But what's really interesting about Schmidt Brothers, and really is a game changer for chefs, and I'll hold this up. Can we get in close, Richard? So is the tang and the spine. It goes all the way through. Okay, this piece of metal is why it's so balanced and why it's so strong. And a lot of people are like, well, why is my knife not sharp after a long period of time? Why does it feel like I don't have control of it? That is like one of the biggest reasons. A lot of knives come in many different pieces. They have one coherent piece, and that makes such a big difference in the strength and the balance. So this makes a huge, huge game changer when it comes to knives. And as you know, with Schmidt Brothers, it's why we teamed up with them. I know it's why so many of you guys love them. They don't break the bank. So if you have two places, if you've got a kid in college, this is like a set that you could get anyone, yourself included, and not feel like, oh my gosh, you guys realize knives nowadays get out of control. Out of control. Yes, question.
A great question from Paulette herself. This is something I think about all the time, Paulette. Is there a difference in cooking time when it's bone-in?
Oh, good question. With pork chops, not really. These are so thin and the bone is so small, not really. But when it's a thick cut, like a steak that is a giant bone or a piece of pork that has a giant bone, these are so small, sometimes it does because the heat doesn't get past the bone and it takes a little bit longer. So typically a little bit longer with a bone, but when they're so thinly cut, don't worry about it. It's a great question. All right, so these are searing. I'm not messing with them. They're just doing their thing. You can cook them stovetop the way that we're doing them and then transfer them into the oven, or you can just cook them on the stove. Totally up to you. While these are searing, we've got gorgeous spring radishes. These make me so happy. I don't know why.
You're like a rabbit in the garden.
Oh my gosh.
So cute with those.
Well, it's just like these are never in season. Look how gorgeous and crisp these greens are. They're like little arugula. No one cooks the greens, no one eats the greens, and it's a huge mistake. So what we're gonna do is show you guys a cooked radish dish, which most people just eat this raw, right? It's just and it's so peppery and spicy. But when you cook radishes, they're buttery and they're really mild. They're beautiful. You can eat the entire thing, right? Greens and all. I'm just gonna go. So good.
I'm asking folks in the chat what their deal is with radishes. Hopefully we'll have some responses soon. What radishes? Sorry,
What about them?
Because we're really searing our pork and it's pretty loud in here, I do have to shout at Joel, which is so funny.
I have to be loud?
No, I do. Exactly. It's because of the frying pork
I'm literally
sounds.
standing in front of a fry station.
No, I'm asking folks what they do with radishes.
Oh, and what are people saying?
I don't know yet.
Well, we'll find out.
I can't wait to tell you.
All right, while we're finding out, let's turn over this pork and just show you guys. Look at this. Is that not gorgeous? Beautiful golden brown sear. This is why cast iron is so nice. Look at this. I mean, that is awesome. You can smell the peas and the ricotta, the garlic. So what I'm going to do now is I flipped them all, and I'm going to put them in a 350-degree oven for about 3 to 5 minutes, which feels like the perfect amount of time to get into our radishes. All right, so those are in. They're doing their thing. You're good. All right. So next up, these gorgeous radishes. And like I said, most people don't cook them. We're going to do it today. So I'm going to take these radishes, and I'm going to cut off the greens. And I'm using my chef knife for this, and cut off the little top here. And then I'm going to cut it in half. So let's just do that a million more times. So cut off the little tail. Cut off the greens. Okay, the tail itself, compost. Then cut it in half. All right, and you want to use your chef knife for this. You can use a paring knife too. Honestly, let's just show you guys this paring knife. If you're not as comfortable with the knife, I would go with the paring knife for this because it's a small job. And when you have small jobs like small little radishes to cut, or you're segmenting a piece of citrus or something like that, it's perfect for a paring knife. But for a chef, sometimes we just like the extra power of a chef knife. Paring knives are also good for things in your hand. So you could do this entire process, with the exception of cutting it in half in your hand. All right, so this is what we're doing. Greens off, top off, and in half. What are people saying about radishes? I want to know how are people using them?
Glazed, braised, amazed.
Braised? Oh my God, that was a glazed, braised.
I know that radishes also, folks love to eat them along a fatty meat because it really cuts through the flavor and adds a nice depth of flavor on the side. And do you want to hear a funny story from Paulette? Okay, so they've only had two complaints at Schmidt Brothers about their knives. And one of them was a customer saying, "Hey, I ran my knife over with my car."
Wait, what?
And Paulette said, "Hey, that's sort of outside of our warranty bounds. I would go ahead and say, why was your knife outside of your kitchen, sir?"
Yes.
But also
why is that a
amazing.
complaint too, by the way?
But it makes Paulette's job easy. There's not a lot of complaints with these knives because they're really that good. They're really that good.
Well,
just don't leave them in the garage, or like in the driveway.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
I will say we've been teamed up with Schmidt Brothers now for over a year, and there's so many knife companies out there, and you really wonder, well, what is the differentiator? And it's not just the quality. The quality is amazing. It's not just the look. The look is elegant, and you can be proud of it, right? A lot of the knife companies out there, that's all they care about. But there's a third element, which is it's just approachable, and that's what we're trying to do with this amazing community. Is we want to make chopping approachable. We want to make techniques approachable. But we also want to make a price point that's approachable. And so, again, these won't break the bank, but they're unbelievable in quality and in gorgeous in visual display, which they are. All right, so we've cut all these radishes in half. Look at the clean, beautiful cut. Can we show the inside of these? They're like pearly little scallops. Oh, they're so fun. So greens off to a side, radish tops, or the actual bulbs, off to the other side. I'm gonna grab a little bit of olive oil in a pan and some butter. So I'm doing a little mixture of both. All right, and I'm gonna turn up the heat to a medium-high heat. Are we getting close into there, Richard? Can you see that okay? Let's make sure, yeah. And you can see I'm doing both because butter kind of smokes up a little bit and the oil kind of mellows that out and makes sure so it doesn't smoke out the place. And I'm gonna add my radishes right in. Oh, aren't these like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? A little salt. Okay, I'm not gonna do pepper because they're peppery enough. And then I've got some thyme. And I don't mean thyme like watch time. I mean like fresh thyme. Oh, my neighbor grows thyme, and I can smell it in my yard. And I don't grow anything because I've got kids and I don't have time. But he lets me go over and pick it, and I get really insecure that I'm like over picking. Do you know what I'm saying?
I love your neighborhood co-op that your other neighbors don't know about. You have your thyme,
well,
you have your rosemary.
He knows about it. The rosemary people don't know about it.
Okay, you heard it here first and
Yes.
last, everybody.
He lets me come. I feel bad because I feel like every week I want to come over and have thyme. But anyways, so I strip this thyme off their little stems. Now with Schmidt Bros, you can leave a little stem on there because we're going to chop it up so fine that you're actually not going to know the difference. And thyme itself really is difficult to kind of strip. So you do want to have a knife that allows you to kind of get in there. All right, here we go. So you can see I have just a little bundle of thyme, about a tablespoon. I'm going to use my chef knife. And this is the rocking technique. This is so important. Now, one thing I called out before is when you're doing most chopping techniques, it's holding the top, pinching the top like this. But for a rock, you kind of want to move back to the handle. You have more leverage that way. So hand on the board, knife down. And with thyme, it's not like a soft herb like mint or basil where you'll bruise it. With thyme, you can really chop it fine and get in there. All right, and you can see all the little stems are just getting pulverized. This heavy bolster, this German steel, this quality is what we're after. Also, we call it out a lot and everyone wants to know. So easy to clean. The carbon steel, very, very, not just durable, but versatile in terms of cleaning it. All right, in we go with these radishes. You ready? With a little bit of the thyme right over the top. This looks so good. And we're
Joel,
just gonna,
what do we think about our pork chops in the oven? Do we need to check on them?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. That's
You're
a great
welcome.
call. Yeah.
And you
Pork
know what?
chop.
It was the chat who went ahead and reminded me.
Oh, yeah, it's about time. I will say, with the bone and the ricotta, pretty much impossible to overcook these. But let's take a look at these. They look unbelievably stunning. I'm going to tip them up so you guys can see them. And we'll obviously cut into one, but check that out. Does that not look crazy? I mean, that's so beautiful.
Oh my God, the browning. That's unreal.
I mean, that's cast iron.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's why we love it.
Invest in your tools, right? Like invest in your pans like you would your knives. All right. So let's just recap where we're at with the radishes. So we took the radishes and we cut them into 3 different parts. We took the little ends going into compost. We cut them in half. Those are in the pan. And then we also saved the greens, and that's off to the side. Now for the actual radish themselves, a little bit of olive oil, butter, salt, and some thyme, right? And we're just kind of like giving these guys just a little bit of a saute, right? Really, really simple. They're just getting nice and soft. Have you ever cooked a radish before, Mary, or no?
I've actually made more of like slaws and cold dishes with the radish,
Yeah.
or I really use it as garnish.
I think most of us do. I think
Yeah.
most of us don't think about cooking a radish, but it's one of those vegetables that you can get behind. It's so good for you. And when you cook it, it kind of transforms the way you look at it. It's really, really good. So again, I'm just kind of like giving these the quickest little sear, just a little brown. It doesn't need to really get too much more brown than that. Like just a touch of color. All right, and they're just getting nice and soft. And I cut a lemon in half. We're getting that ready. And then I have all of these greens. So I'm just going to take all the radish greens, and they're just going to go right in. Cool. And with those radish greens, a nice squeeze of lemon. How stunning is this? Are people losing it? Because I'm losing it.
Yes. Well, we just love a radish green. We love a free salad that comes with our vegetable. It's the best.
So I'm just tossing this through. Look at that. Is that not the perfect little side dish for a piece of fish, for a piece of chicken, or a gorgeous piece of pork? This is like all day, every day, my dream. By the way, can we just take a quick close-up? I'm just going to wipe this down. This is, like I said, the Schmidt Bros. This is their gorgeous cutting board. I mean, look at this. Stunning. What I've already kind of noticed about it, this is the first time I've ever used it, incredibly smooth. Really elegant in design. Heavy. Not too heavy so you can't move it, but heavy enough where it's not going to move if I kind of press on it. Really, all the signs of a great cutting board. Excited about this. All right. Greens, radishes are finito. Our pork chops are done. Let's cut into one, shall we? So let's take a look. Oh my gosh, I am beyond excited here. What do we want to start with? We'll grab one of these. All right. So we take out a chop, put it right on the board. And typically I would serve this as like a whole chop because you obviously don't want to slice it up with a filling in there. But I do want you guys just to kind of see what's going on. So I'll kind of cut this open. When you slice the pork, you want to go against the grain. All right, so you kind of look, you can kind of brush the pork back and you can see little lines. I know it's hard on camera, and where they're running. And almost always with pork chops, they're running away from the bone if they're bone in like this, okay? So that means you want to cut perpendicular to it. And nice long strokes, all right? That first bite is the chef's bite. That's going to be amazing. But I want you guys to kind of just see the middle here. Pearly white, if I press down on it. So juicy. This is a perfectly cooked pork chop. Unbelievably delicious.
Joel, I'm not going to lie. When you took that out of the pan and put it on the cutting board, and this is embarrassing, but we're a community of friends.
Yes.
I literally got goosebumps. What is wrong? What is wrong with me?
Nothing. Everything is right.
Amazing.
Everything is right with you.
Okay,
Everything
perfect.
is right. I love it. All right. I'm going to take some of these greens, our radish tops, and some of our radishes and just kind of pluck them onto a little plate here. Just make a little nest. How gorgeous. Just that is just like, come on. Spring all day. I'm going to grab one of our pork chops and just place it right on top. By the way, this is like, to me, super healthy. Like whole foods, right? Unbelievable vegetables. This is a very beautifully balanced dish. This is something I would eat all the time. And that's as simple as it is. You can serve a little wodge of lemon next to it if you want. You don't need to. I like a little bit on the finish. And there you have it. Stuffed ricotta and pea pork chops. Gorgeous radishes with radish greens. I'm not going to cut into that one because it looks too beautiful, but I'm going to try my slice that I did before. Oh, yeah. And by the way, take out the toothpick. Good idea. Okay. Okay. So creamy, right? The ricotta kind of melts in all the best way. It almost becomes a sauce. Little bursts of sweet little gems of peas right on the tongue. The mint finishes on the back. Richness of the pork cuts right through. I do need to try the radishes. Bright, peppery, soft, almost like a potato in that way. Those two things just work.
You guys, when Joel is silent, that means he is eating, and that means what he's
That's
eating is very
time.
good.
That is the only time I am silent.
It's so
I have
great.
to say, like, this is, I'm like, just right now where I go, when I eat dishes like this, I'm like, who do I want to make this for? Right? Like to me, cooking is a hug. It's a way to express love. It's a way to comfort people. It's a way to bring people closer. And I just think, like, am I making this for my next barbecue? Am I making this for my birthday celebration? That's kind of like, what who
Okay,
gets to eat
Mother's
this?
Day, Father's Day,
Oh my gosh.
graduations. I don't know. What else is happening in the
All
spring?
of it.
It's
All
perfect.
of it. Make this. It's incredible. And I can tell you right now, making it with a dull knife, not fun. As you can tell, there's so many steps along the way, whether it's mincing the herbs, chiffonading the basil, dealing with the radishes, right? Not having a sharp knife with those, very dangerous. Or filleting open and kind of book opening the pork chop. You want to have the right tools. That's why we're here. We all love Schmidt Brothers, and that is what the cutting edge is all about. So make sure if you don't have these at home, go check out the Heritage or any number of their knives. It's incredible. And we will be back. What's our next class? Sheet pan peri-peri chicken?
Oh yeah, I just put it in all caps in the chat because I did have a preview taste of it, and it goes crazy.
Wait, when did you have a preview taste and not invite me for this?
So sorry. I think you were eating another dish, most likely.
Oh.
Anyway, we just love having you guys in the kitchen, and I actually need to come around to the counter now to have a bite of this. So
You may not. You may not. I'm hogging it all for myself. But you guys take care. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you in the community forum. Always ask us questions. We're always going to give you tips. We hope that you guys have that much more confidence in the kitchen, and don't forget, your cutting edge is waiting. Take care.
nice. We have to train the chefs to not linger back after they do it.
Did I linger?